you doing, everyone? We're back here for your Sunday games for Draftstars, and I'm going to be going through the three individually. It's just because I'm actually overseas at the moment, so in a different weird time zone. It's not having all three games in one, so I'm just going to have to do them quickly, individually for you, and I hope you get a lot out of it. If you are new to this, please sign up in that link below. You can get in there and start playing in these events. So we've got the 6,000 Sharks versus Raiders prize pool there. And in our outside backs, obviously, you've got a couple of big dogs there for you. You're looking to spend up a bit of money in the outside backs. And the question here is, which one of these outside backs for the Sharks is going to have a dominant game against Canberra? Sharks played pretty poorly a couple of weeks ago and are still wanting to bounce back and show that they're a top side. So I think this is going to be a game where they come out and play really well. And it's going to be very interesting with Niko Hines playing at fullback as well as to how that plays out. So might not be that dominant game from Niko. Anyway, we're not exactly sure, but we'll work that out across this little video here. But obviously Talakai coming in with a couple of lighter games the last 2 weeks, which hasn't been amazing for him, with a 47.9 and the 33. But obviously has that amazing upside with 3 games above 78. So Talakai definitely a great option. Same with Ronaldo. I think either of them are going to be a good one without Ramian being there. Connor Tracy, who came in, had a great one last week. So I think he's probably a solid option heading into this week at 11,790. I'd be looking to pop him in my side for sure. If you're going anywhere lighter, I wouldn't be thinking of any of those guys. The halves and the hookers. So we got Niko Hines at fullback with a 25,770. It might be the week to leave him out of your side. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hit the heights of 25,770. It's going to make it really hard for you to plug any of those good outside backs in, and you might have to get really cheap in the outside backs to be able to fit Niko in, for example. And I think someone like Braden Trindle is going to have a really, really good game at 13,000. So potentially could use him, and he's had great games when he's been the dominant half in the past. When you've got Matt Moylan next to him, Trindle's going to do the majority of the kicking and controlling of the game, like like Niko Hines has been. And we won't expect anything crazy, but anywhere around the 40 to 50 mark for Braden could be a pretty safe target there. And then you've got Adam Elliott as well. I think is going to be a great option for you in this role again of playing that 20 minutes at 9 and then moving into the middle. And he's had a couple of great games in the last few weeks, and I think he'll be able to slot in nicely for you at 12,240. And then we saw Matt Frawley have a great game last week at 52.8. So he could be one of those guys you chuck in the flex, and you could use him straight out in the half hooker if you want. In the half hooker and the flex with Niko Hines and Frawley if you want to go that combination, could be solid as well. And then we move to the forwards, and not too many options, I don't feel, at this point. Teague Walton, again, could have a solid one, along with McInnes, but it should be off the bench. At this stage, he's going to be. Britton Nikora could come over for a try as well. And you've got some solid games, up and down games from Tarpanay, who's had a 49 and a 41 in his last 2, for example. And then if you want to go a little bit cheaper, you've obviously got Corey Harawira, who's been playing in the 13 role, but his scores have been a little bit up and down as well, with some high 20s there. And anyone else I probably would be trying to stay away from. So there's a fair bit of money you're going to have to spend in the forwards. And I definitely think someone like Matt Frawley at 9K in the flex at least is going to be someone pretty important for you. We'll move to the 8,000 Roosters v Eels, and selection of this one's going to be really interesting. How close is this game going to be? Eels came out and got a win last week against Panthers. Roosters are playing okay without being spectacular, and you've got a pretty tight game here. And do you decide to go a little bit lighter in the outside backs in the form of someone like Daniel Tupou, who's obviously been really solid, 45 every second week, which is obviously what you'd like. You got Will Penasini, who's coming up against the left edge defense of the Roosters there, and has been scoring really solidly. So 32 as his low in the last 6 weeks is really, really nice. So they're definitely options for you. And Suali'i has been scoring tries as well. So he got a 50 last week. And if you want to spend that little bit less down there, then he could be your man. And if you want to get real cheap, then guys like obviously Momorowski and Opacek are solid here and there in the 9,000 mark. So there you guys. Dylan Brown, they're still keeping him in the outside backs for some reason, given even if he's playing 6. I think he's a really solid one as well. And Teddy's obviously been amazing. So there's plenty of ways you can go about this at the moment if you want to spend a little bit up top and maybe one higher and one lower, or split to that accordingly. Completely up to you for that one. All right, to the halves and the hookers, and very interesting in this one. We've got Kiri, who's starting to score a lot better and play much better here. And the question's going to be, is Moses going to step up against the Roosters like he did last week? He's usually someone that plays really, really well and gets huge scores against those lower teams. So can Moses step up and do it against the Roosters just like he did last week? I definitely think there's an opportunity for that, because there's not too many options here in this section. You got Connor Watson starting at 9 again, and should get some big minutes with Verrills out. So that's something to think about. He got a 53 and a 49 in those first 2 games of the year, and I definitely think he can get somewhere near that again. So he's probably the value play in here. And then obviously Sammy Walker, a little bit cheaper, but a little bit more inconsistent with his scores. Reedy's been playing a lot better as well. So definitely some thoughts around all of them. He's got his lowest score in the last 4 is 48 at 18,500. Can't really go wrong with that one. You got Papali'i and Crichton, who sit up top here in the forwards, and I think they're both great options. So completely up to you how you want to play that one. Madison's been scoring well, but personally, I don't know, the 17,800. Can he come out and score again? I'm expecting somewhere around that high 40s. That's probably a little bit too low for what we need from him. Taukei'aho has been scoring really well when he actually gets to start. 48 and a 49 in 2 of the last 3 weeks, which has been great. Nathan Brown there had a great game last week as well. Got the big minutes in the middle and has dropped in price a fair bit over the last few weeks with a few low ones off the bench, etc. So he could definitely come out and do well for you. In terms of anyone cheaper, really only Fletcher Baker that could come out and do okay for you, but he's had 2 low ones recently as well. All right, last game of the round. We got the Tigers v the Cowboys, and I definitely think that Scotty Drinkwater is going to be a great option in this one. He's been really dominant lately, averaging 43 across the last bunch. Obviously, last week not as much, in that nice win from the Cowboys. But how you want to play this is completely up to you. You got guys like Kyle Felt. If they're scoring tries, they're going to do well, so you can sneak them into your squad. If you want to go a little bit lighter, you got guys like Gildart, who can be a bit hit and miss at the 9K. Obviously a 57 last week, but a heap of low ones before that. So can he do that again? That's obviously a question you need to answer yourself. And then you've got guys like Stafford Toa at fullback, who's been playing really solidly the last 2 weeks especially. So I think at 11,000, you can probably plug him in with maybe a Drinkwater or a Kyle Feldt. You can play it that way for sure. Halves and the hookers. So Hastings has been obviously super dominant, so he could be the guy that you just plug into your squad. If you want to go a little bit less, obviously Brooksy at 16.8. If you want to go back a little bit higher, then we've got Reese Robson, who's been playing 80 minutes and has been really, really good with scores of 56 and 62. If we go down that little bit lower there, we've got obviously Dearden at 14, probably a little bit high for me at the moment, and we'll move to the forwards. And Ruben Cotter and Tamalolo have both got that high price, just over 21,000 now, and Cotter's been playing amazing. You can see that, 76 and 61 since he's had big minute games. And I think this is going to be a real tight, tough tussle between the middle forwards, and I definitely think he could be a guy that could benefit from that. Tamalolo had a low game last week, so they're definitely expecting a bounce back. You've got Offengawe, who's been absolutely dominant, so I think him at the lighter price point should be a definite over those 2. And if you still have that extra money, then you can go for the other 2 guys as well. 12's been great also. If you're going cheaper now, obviously Jeremiah Nanai is still a great option along with Hylam Lukey if you want to go that 12 to 13,000. And Gilbert's still been fairly solid there. A couple of lower ones, but in amongst some good ones, he can come back and be that way straight away. We've got Musgrove, who I've been talking about each and every week, has been really dominant. Last week was not his biggest one, so definitely a chance to bounce back. Kelma Tuolangi had a really poor game last week, a bunch of missed tackles, etc. So him at 10,300, looking to get somewhere in that mid-30s again, but he's definitely not someone that you need to bring in as some kind of must-have. And that's pretty much it, guys. I think there's not really too much else to go off in these ones. If Seyfarth happens to get a start, then I'd be picking him again. But other than that, that is this video. I hope that helped a lot, guys. As I said, sign up below, hit play down there as well, and get in on all the fun. I hope you have a great day. See you later.